taking the stand today in day 5 of the penalty phase of the Parkland school shooter.
And that jury seeing images of students and staff and how the responding officers found them. Local 10's Parker Branton walks us through what is some graphic images brought forward today in court. Parker.
Christy, good afternoon. And those graphic images are just some of what make up now of over 100 pieces of evidence, close to 50 witnesses. That is what we've heard from so far this week. The prosecution working really hard to establish those aggravating factors, showing images of what officers, law enforcement saw once they entered that 1200 building where this shooting went down. Let's take you inside of the courtroom. Of course, this is day 5 of this penalty phase trial for the Parkland shooter. Today so far, we have heard from a Coral Springs police officer, a detective, and a Broward County Sheriff's deputy. They were showing the jury some of those still images from their body camera, and they would have the officers who were on the stand describe what exactly they were seeing. Those police officers who were arriving on scene were describing some of those difficult details, like checking vitals on Aaron Feist, who we know is a football coach, who we know used himself as a shield to protect other students. Also, Christopher Hickson, who is the athletic director, who tried to disarm the gunman. That was another person that the police officer described their interaction with. And finally, one of the more difficult things that we've heard so far during this week was the officer finding Jamie Guttenberg, which we know is one of the Parkland victims. Her father was inside of the courtroom listening to this. It was a very difficult thing for him to hear. At times he was wiping his eyes. Let's take a listen to some of what we heard in court this morning.
What does that depict? It shows me checking for vital signs on Jamie Guttenberg and the other officers covering the doors.
Where are you?
I am over Jamie Guttenberg.
Okay. And what happened? You checked her? Any vital signs?
Yes, I checked her vital signs for breath and for pulse. I found none, and I checked several times.
So again, they were talking about 14-year-old Jamie, who was a freshman at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School. Her father has since become a national advocate for gun safety. That was just one of the names we heard inside of the courtroom this morning. Joaquin Oliver, another one, Meadow Pollock, and of course, Aaron Feist, Christopher Hickson, just some of those Parkland victims who passed away in this shooting. Officers describing their interaction when they found them and what exactly they are seeing in these images that they are showing the jury. For now, we know that the jury has taken a break for lunch, but there is expected to be more evidence presented later this afternoon. Again, the prosecution trying to establish those aggravating factors against the Parkland shooter. Of course, we are expecting to hear more later this afternoon. For now, we are live in Fort Lauderdale. I'm Parker Branton, Local 10 News.